there, grade 8 learners. I am teacher Lucilinda, your science teacher. And I welcome you all to Siyan Saya, where learning science is fun and beyond imagination. Today's lesson is based on the most essential learning competency, using models or illustrations to explain how movement along faults generate earthquakes. Please try to look at the picture. What do you think is it? If you answer a map, then you are correct. It is the map of the Philippines. Did you know that the Philippines is located along the Ring of Fire? If you know it, then the Ring of Fire refers to the region around the Pacific Ocean that is commonly hit by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. It is also referred as Circum-Pacific Belt, a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. In fact, the majority of Earth's volcanoes and earthquakes take place along the Ring of Fire. That's the reason why Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, closely monitor the possible occurrence of earthquakes in the country. I want you to pay attention to this jumbled word. What is it? You are correct. The word is earthquake. What is an earthquake? An earthquake is a vibration of the earth produced by the rapid release of energy. It is caused by a sudden slip on a fault. The tectonic plates are always slowly moving, but they get stuck at their edges due to friction. When the stress on the edge overcomes the friction, there is an earthquake that releases in the form of energy in waves that travel through Earth's interior and crust that cause the shaking that we feel. Have you experienced an earthquake? Of course we do. I want you to study the image. How will you describe it? If your answer is a break or a crack, then you are right. It is a break in the Earth's crust known as fault, a surface or narrow zone along which one side has moved relative to the other. This movement may occur rapidly in the form of an earthquake or may occur slowly in the form of a creep. Most faults produce repeated displacements over geologic time. Take a closer look on the illustration. Can you point out where the fault is? If you point out that it is in the middle of the two blocks, perfect! How do faults produce quakes? Energy from Earth's interior makes the ground move. Friction holds the rocks together. Once friction is overcome, the ground will move and the earthquake will occur. Earthquakes are caused when faults slip suddenly. Friction between two sides of a fault keeps it from moving until the stress on the fault overcomes the friction. Then the fault slips and creates an earthquake. Faults are classified according to movements of two blocks. There are three types of faults, namely normal fault, reverse fault, and strike-slip fault. Normal fault is a deep slip fault in which the block above the fault has moved downward relative to the block below. Reverse fault is a deep slip fault in which the upper block above the fault plane moves up and over the lower block. A reverse fault is often described as a thrust fault. Strike-slip fault is a fault on which the two blocks slide past one another. There are two types of strike-slip fault: left lateral strike-slip fault, right lateral strike-slip fault. Let us try to answer this exercise. You may answer true or false. Number 1. Philippines is located along the Pacific Ring of Fire. If you answered true, you are correct. Number 2. Earthquakes are not associated with faults. If you answered false, then you are right. Number 3. A fault is a break in the Earth's crust. Correct. You answered true. Number 4. Energy from inside the earth exerts force on the rocks. Very good. The answer is true. Number 5. Friction holds the rocks together. If you answered true, very good. For the next learning exercise, I want you to identify what type of fault is the given illustration. Picture 1. Yes, you're right. It is a reverse fault. Picture 2 is correct. It is a normal fault. How about picture 3? If you answered left lateral strike slip fault, very good. What about picture 4? Awesome! It is a strike slip fault. Can you guess what is picture 5? Great! It shows right lateral strike slip fault.
You deserve a round of applause. It is clearly seen that you have the idea on what earthquake and fault is. This time, you are to answer the following questions. Now, in a short bond paper, you are to illustrate how movements along faults generate earthquake. You will pass it on the next distribution and retrieval of modules. If you have some queries, I am just a text away, or you can message me in our group chat, because I am willing to help and assist all of you. This has been Teacher Lucinda, and I will see you again for another science learning experience. Bye-bye!